Hey there. You're planning for retirement and want to know what's up with Social Security in 2025. Well, we've got you covered. We're going to take a deep dive into this article from Fool.com.
Okay.
It's called What All Retirees Need to Know About Social Security in 2025 to help you navigate those golden years.
It's a really good article to break down, especially since Social Security can seem like a black box for so many people.
Yeah, for sure. So let's unpack this. The article starts with a 2.5% cost of living adjustment, or TOLA,
Right.
for 2025. Seems like good news. Who doesn't love a bigger check, right?
Yeah, it is good news. But before you book that dream vacation, it's important to understand how that COLA is calculated.
Yeah.
It's based on the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers.
CPI what now?
Yeah, it's a mouthful.
Huh?
It's basically a measure of inflation, but it might not accurately reflect the rising costs that retirees specifically face, like healthcare.
So the CLA might not be keeping up with the actual cost of living for retirees. Yeah, that's one of the critiques. On top of that, the average Social Security benefit in 2025 is projected to be around $23,000 per year. That's not exactly a king's ransom.
No, definitely not enough to live lavishly. So relying solely on Social Security might not be the best retirement plan.
Exactly. And the article highlights a strategy that could really make a difference, delaying when you claim benefits.
Now, I know we're not supposed to give financial advice, but let's dig into that a bit. Why is delaying so impactful?
Well, think of it this way. Every year, you delay claiming your benefit amount increases. And for most people, the break-even point where delaying starts to pay off more than claiming early is somewhere around age 80.
So if you're relatively healthy and, expect to live a long life, waiting till 70 to start claiming could mean significantly larger checks for a longer period.
Precisely. Plus, those COA increases apply to a larger base amount, leading to even more money in your pocket down the line.
Okay, that makes sense. But what about this maximum benefit number I keep hearing about? Over $5,000 a month. Sign me up.
Ah, yes. The mythical maximum benefit. Very few people actually qualify for that. It requires earning the maximum taxable income for at least 35 years and delaying claiming until age 70.
Wow. Okay, let's talk about that maximum taxable income. The article says it's going up to $176,100 in 2025. So if you're making less than that, you don't even have to worry about trying to hit the maximum benefit, right?
You got it. And even if you are earning above that limit, only the first $176,100 is subject to Social Security taxes.
Okay.
This means someone making millions is paying the same amount in Social Security taxes as someone making $176,100.
So the burden of funding Social Security falls more heavily on lower and middle income earners.
That's one way to look at it, and it sparked debate about whether high earners should contribute more to the system.
That leads us to a big question that the article brings up. The Social Security surplus is shrinking. They're projecting it could be depleted by 2035. That sounds a little scary.
It is certainly a serious issue, but it's important to remember that depleted doesn't mean bankrupt.
Okay, so explain that to me. Because to most people, those words sound pretty interchangeable.
As long as people are working and paying that Social Security taxes, benefits will continue to be paid out. The issue is that if the surplus runs dry, those benefits might be reduced to around 83% of what they're currently projected to be.
Yeah, so it's not about Social Security disappearing entirely. It's about making sure it's strong enough to provide the level of support retirees are counting on.
Right.
And that's where things get tricky. The article mentions potential solutions, but they all come with trade-offs.
Yeah.
Let's dive into those. What are some of the options being considered?
Well, one idea is to raise the retirement age. People are living longer, so the thinking is they could work longer too.
But wouldn't that disproportionately affect people in physically demanding jobs? Or those who just can't afford to work longer?
That's a valid concern.
Yeah.
It's why this option often faces pushback. Another proposal is to adjust the benefit formula, perhaps by changing how benefits are calculated or maybe reducing the growth rate of benefits over time.
And that would likely mean smaller checks for future retirees, right?
Exactly. And then there's the idea of raising the cap on taxable income. Remember how we talked about how only the first $176,100 is subject to Social Security taxes?
Yeah, it seemed like a bit of a loophole for high earners.
We're removing that cap or raising it significantly could generate more revenue for Social Security. But of course, it would also mean higher taxes for some people.
So it's a bit of a balancing act, trying to find solutions that ensure the program's solvency without placing undue burdens on certain groups.
It is, and it's a conversation that needs to happen sooner rather than later. The longer we wait to address these issues, the fewer options we'll have, and the more drastic the solutions might become.
It sounds like we need to shift from what's happening with Social Security to what can we do about it?
Absolutely. This deep dive is about more than just understanding the mechanics of Social Security. It's about empowering you to take action, to become an informed advocate for your own future and the future of this vital program.
Okay, so we've talked about potential solutions, but let's bring this back to a personal level. Knowing all of this, how should someone listening to this be thinking about their own retirement plan?
The key takeaway is diversification. Don't rely on Social Security alone. Build a strong financial foundation that includes personal savings, investments, and other potential income sources.
So it's about having a plan B or maybe even a plan C, just in case those Social Security benefits aren't as generous as we'd hoped.
Precisely. And start planning early. The power of compound interest is a real thing. Even small, consistent contributions to a retirement account can grow significantly over time.
It's like that saying, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today.
Exactly. And remember, it's never too late to start taking control of your financial future. There are resources available to help you create a plan that meets your individual needs and goals.
So don't panic, diversify, and start planning early. Those are some solid action items.
They are. And remember, Social Security is a program designed to support us as we age. It's worth fighting for, worth having informed conversations about, and worth ensuring its strength for generations to come.
You know, it's amazing to think that Social Security has been around for almost a century. It's weathered a lot of storms along the way.
What's fascinating is how adaptable it's been. From economic downturns to, demographic shifts, Social Security has managed to kind of keep up with the times.
Yeah, when I think about retirement, I think about my grandparents. Social Security was a lifeline for them. It allowed them to live with dignity and, really enjoy their golden years.
Yeah, it provided a safety net, a sense of security that allowed them to focus on things other than, just scraping by.
But it's clear from this deep dive that Social Security faces some real challenges in the coming years. Those demographic shifts you mentioned. People are living longer and birth rates are declining. That puts a strain on the system.
Yeah, and if we connect this to the bigger picture, it raises questions about intergenerational equity. How do we ensure that Social Security remains viable for younger generations while also fulfilling the promises made to current retirees?
It's a complex equation with no easy solutions, but it feels like we've moved beyond simply talking about numbers and statistics. This is about people's lives, their hopes, their dreams for a secure retirement.
And it's about the values we hold as a society. Do we believe in supporting each other, in ensuring that everyone has the opportunity to age with dignity and financial security?
Social Security is more than just a government program. It's a reflection of who we are and what we believe in. It's a promise we make to ourselves and to future generations.
And ultimately, it's up to us to decide what that promise looks like. This deep dive has given you the knowledge. Now it's time to take action.
Stay informed, engage in the conversation, and make your voice heard. The future of Social Security depends on it. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Social Security.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure exploring this with you.
Remember, a secure retirement doesn't happen by accident. It takes planning awareness and a willingness to engage in the big questions. Until next time, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep diving deep